Before we jump in, I do earn a referral fee when you use the services and companies I demonstrate in the video, but there is no additional cost to you. I chose them because they're the best in the industry and you're safe with them. Let's get into small business taxes for beginners. There's been a record-breaking number of LLCs created in the last 2 years, according to U.S. business formation statistics. Unfortunately, many new business owners have no idea how their taxes work. The game changes once you become self-employed, since you no longer have an employer who pays and files your taxes, like federal, state, Social Security, and Medicare taxes, on your behalf. Now, all those tax payments fall on you. If you watch this video until the end, you'll have a deep understanding of small business taxes for beginners. I'll jump into topics like the different types of small business taxes, how to pay taxes for LLC and other entity owners, common tax deductions and credits, and much more. Before continuing the video, let's introduce you to BZ. BZ is a professional formation service company to file your LLC. It's an amazing company that will guide you through creating your LLC. They even have a service where they will file your LLC for you without you going through any hassle. The full review of BZ is also given in the description box down below. Let's dive in, starting with number 1. Number 1, income taxes. First, individual income tax. If you're an LLC, S-Corp, or sole proprietorship, you'll pay personal tax rates on your income. For C corporations, it's a flat 21% federal rate plus any state taxes, but remember, C Corp can get hit with double taxation. Then, payroll taxes. If you have employees, you're covering federal income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment. And self-employment tax. If you're a sole proprietor or LLC owner, you're paying 15.3% for Social Security and Medicare. A small tip, if your net profit is around $60,000, consider S-Corp status to save on this. Number 2, taxes on purchases. You have sales tax for products sold, and excise tax for specific items like alcohol, tobacco, and gasoline. And finally, number 3, taxes on what you own. There's property tax on any real estate or business assets you own. And that's it, 3 categories to keep in mind so you're ready for tax season. Now, let's move on to part 2 of this video, how to pay business income taxes. There are 3 to 4 basic steps. 1. Figure out the taxes you need to pay. 2. Calculate how much to pay. 3. Pay your taxes. And, 4. File your tax return. Let's chart this out. Step 1. I'm going to go through the types of taxes subject to sole proprietorships, single-member LLCs, partnership LLCs, S corporations, and C corporations. When it comes to individual income taxes, everyone pays it except for C corporations. With self-employment taxes, S corporations can avoid some of them, not all, but some, and C corporations avoid them altogether. The next type of tax is payroll taxes, and this applies to every business that has W-2 employees and always applies to S corporations since owners must pay themselves a reasonable salary. The corporate tax rate, of course, only applies to C corporations. On the chart, I've listed what tax returns these taxes are reported on. For example, single-member LLCs use the 1040 individual tax return with an attached Schedule C, whereas multi-member LLCs must file an information return called the US 1065 return and then report their income on US 1040 using a tax form called K-1. Alright, so that's step 1, figure out where you fall and what income taxes you need to pay. Once you have that, move on to step number 2 and calculate how much you need to pay. Since you are no longer an employee, instead of withholding taxes on every paycheck, now you'll need to pay every quarter in what is known as a quarterly estimated tax payment. This can be calculated by taking the total taxes you owe, plus the total self-employment taxes you owe, which gives you your total estimated taxes. Then, divide that by 4 to determine what you need to pay every quarter. If you need help getting to those numbers, I suggest Googling for an online calculator or paying 110% of what you owed in the previous tax year to avoid any penalties. As you can see, you have roughly 15 days after the typical calendar quarter ends to pay your taxes. It's important to know that if you don't make quarterly tax payments or fail to do so on time, you may get hit with what's called an estimated tax penalty, which is like the IRS's late fee. This fee, along with others, can be avoided if you simply pay your taxes on time. Once you know how much tax you need to pay, you can move on to step 3 and pay your taxes. You can do this by going to irs.gov/payments, logging into your account, and selecting Make a Quarterly Payment. From there, you can choose to use your bank account, debit card, credit card, or digital wallet like PayPal to make your payment. Finally, step 4 is to file your tax return so you report all your income and payments to the IRS. Business tax deductions. Now let's move on to the third part of this video and talk about some of my favorite things, business tax deductions. In my opinion, business owners get some of the best tax advantages out there, and if you play it smart, you can bring your tax bill way down, sometimes even close to zero, by taking advantage of certain deductions. So, what exactly is a business tax deduction? It's an expense you can claim to reduce your taxable income. The IRS says an expense is deductible if it's ordinary and necessary for your business. Ordinary means it's common in your field, and necessary means it's useful and appropriate for what you do. Here are some common deductions to keep in mind. Employee expenses, costs of hiring, wages, benefits, and even payroll taxes. Travel expenses, airfare, hotel stays, meals, all fair game if they're business related. Office expenses, rent, utilities, supplies, and advertising. Equipment, machinery, vehicles, even planes in some cases. On top of these, there are also business tax credits that many states offer to cut your tax bill even more, dollar for dollar. Popular ones include research and development credits, hiring credits for veterans or specific employee groups, location-based credits for developing in certain areas. If you want to dive deeper, we've got tons of videos on tax write-offs and credits, so make sure you're subscribed for more. Compliance checklist. Let's move on to the fourth part of this video and discuss staying compliant. Staying compliant with the IRS means following all applicable tax laws and fulfilling your tax obligations as a business owner. If you're not compliant, you could face a lot of unnecessary pain. For example, you may end up paying additional fees and penalties, be subject to audits, or even lose your LLC status, which offers many legal liability protections. So, how do you stay compliant? Here are 6 tips. Follow the rules of your LLC. Each state has its own set of rules for LLCs, so make sure you understand and follow them. This may include maintaining records, holding meetings, or electing members and managers. Keep accurate and organized records. Bookkeeping this will make it easier to stay compliant and help in the event of an audit. Fulfill your tax obligations. This includes filing your tax returns, paying taxes, and sending the appropriate tax forms when necessary. Follow employment laws. If you have employees, it's important to comply with employment laws, including those related to minimum wage, overtime, and discrimination. Protect consumer privacy. If you collect personal information, protect customer privacy and follow laws related to data and privacy protection. Obtain necessary licenses and permits. Depending on your business type and location, you may need specific licenses and permits to legally operate. Ensure you know what's required, obtain them, and renew them as needed. We covered a lot here, and if you understand all that, congratulations, you're in good shape to manage your business taxes. But there's one more advanced topic I didn't cover: IRS receipt requirements and how to substantiate any tax deduction you take. Be sure to watch the upcoming video to get a clear understanding of what's required of you as a business owner. I'll see you there.